night before Christmas. But you don't have to be an angel to sing harmony. You don't have to be a child to love the mystery. And you don't have to be a wise man on bended knee. The heart of this Christmas is in you and me.
Yes, it's Christmas Eve again here in Springdale, Indiana, which hasn't been quite the same since the factory closed a few years ago. And even though times are tough, the Christmas season still brings joy to people's faces as they prepare to celebrate Christ's birth. But not everywhere in Springdale is joyful. One very unjoyful place is the offices of Springdale Finance Company, owned by one Solomon Lynch, one of the meanest, greediest men since Ebenezer Scrooge snarled his way through the streets of London back in the 19th century. In fact, you'll find Solomon Lynch and Ebenezer Scrooge have quite a lot in common. I should know, I'm Ebenezer Scrooge. Now don't hide those children. I left those bah humbug days behind me more than a century and a half ago. You all know my story, even Solomon does. But this is Solomon's story. And tonight, Christmas Eve, I and some acquaintances of mine are going to help offer Solomon a chance at something we all need, even those of us who aren't cranky misers. A chance at redemption.
Springdale Finance Company, Bob speaking. Oh, hello, Mrs. Kelly. What can I do for you? I'm sorry, Mrs. Kelly, I'm not sure what I can do. This is the third month in a row you've missed your payment. Yes, I know it's been tough since your husband lost his job at the factory last year. Yes, I know it's almost Christmas. Yes, I know you're doing everything you can. Yes, I know it never hurts to ask, but I'm afraid I know what the answer's going to be. Mr. Lynch?
Is that Mrs. Kelly again?
Yes.
Does she have her mortgage payment this month?
Well, no, but
That's 3 months in a row the Kellys have missed their mortgage payment. Let her know we'll start foreclosure proceedings immediately.
But Mr. Kelly still has not been able to find work since the factory shut down last year.
Not my issue. If I took the factory closing down as an excuse for every mortgage I've offered the bank, I'd be the one on the streets. I run a business, not a charity. Tell Mrs. Kelly I want the money or the house. It's her choice.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Kelly, there's really nothing I can do. Yes, I know. I'm sorry. Well, you have a Merry Christmas anyway.
Bob, never say Merry Christmas. What if she's Jewish or Muslim or something?
I don't know many Jewish or Muslim people with the last name of Kelly.
Even still, don't take the chance of offending a client.
Well, how about Happy Holidays then?
Not much happy about them, is there? Gloomy winter weather, crowds at the mall, spending too much, eating too much. You know, they say that the suicide rate is higher during the holidays than any other time of the year. Wouldn't we just be better off without them?
But that's not what the holidays are supposed to be about. It's a time to celebrate Christ's birth, to spend with family.
Family. I've got 2 ex-wives and 2 daughters who want nothing to do with me. And a mother who nags at me constantly. It doesn't matter that I've built a successful business that can take care of myself, or her if need be. It's never good enough.
But that's not what a family's supposed to be about. A family's supposed to be there for love and support, even during the hard times.
It's just a bunch of arguments and fussing. As far as your personal problems go, Bob, just keep them to yourself and don't let them interfere with your work. I've got enough of my own issues to deal with.
Yes, Mr. Lynch.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lynch.
Not much good about it unless you're here to pay off a loan.
No, we're from the Springdale Community Fund.
I'm not interested in taking part of some socialistic attempt to take my hard-earned money and give me some deadbeat loafer.
But surely you know, since the factory closed down, a lot of people are...
There's that factory again. Is there anyone in this town who knows how to do anything but run an assembly line?
Mr. Lynch, your father always supported us generously through the efforts of his church.
My father has been gone 5 years now. And to quote the Bible he preached from, if a man does not work, he should not eat. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm a busy man. I have other things to attend to.
Was your father a pastor?
Like I said, Bob, I have enough of my own issues to deal with. I don't need you sticking your nose into it.
Whoa, that man has a heart of ice.
If he even has one. It's too bad, considering the family he comes from. He must have inherited a nasty gene from some other ancestor.
You're a mean one, Mr. Lynch. You really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus. You're as charming as an eel, Mr. Lynch. You're a bad banana with a greasy black peel. You're a monster, Mr. Lynch. Your heart's an empty hole. Your brain is full of spiders. You've got garlic in your soul, Mr. Lynch. I wouldn't touch you with a 39.5 foot pole. You're a vile one, Mr. Lynch. You got termites in your smile. You have all the tender sweetness of a seasick crocodile, Mr. Lynch. Given the choice between the two of you, I'd take the seasick crocodile. You're a foul one, Mr. Lynch. You're a nasty, wasty skunk. Your heart is full of unwashed socks. Your soul is full of gunk, Mr. Lynch. The three words that best describes you are as follows, and I quote: stink, stink, stunk. You're a rotter, Mr. Lynch. You're the king of sinful sots. Your heart's a dead tomato squashed with moldy purple spots, Mr. Lynch. Your soul is an appalling dump, overflowing with the most disgraceful assortment of deplorable rubbish imaginable, mangled up in tangled up knots. You nauseate me, Mr. Lynch, with a nauseous super nos. You're a crooked jerky jockey and you drive a crooked horse, Mr. Lynch. You're a three-decker sauerkraut and toadstool sandwich in arsenic sauce.
I cannot believe how many foreclosures we have these days. It's been so tough since it's been tough.
Yes, it seems we're getting behind in all this paperwork. Why don't you plan on coming in tomorrow?
Tomorrow? On Christmas Day?
We won't have any new paperwork coming in.
But it's Christmas! I don't even get time and a half. I was going to spend the day with my family.
Like you said, times are tough. You know, you were out of work a few months yourself before I hired you. Sure, there are plenty of other people who'd like your job, if you're not feeling up to it.
Fine. Can I at least come in late so I can open presents with my kids? My son's been sick and
No personal problems, Bob. Be in by noon and plan to work into the evening, until we get through all this.
All right. I'll see you tomorrow. You have a merry, or have a happy, I'll see you tomorrow.
Well, I think that's enough work for today. Let's go home and get some rest so I can be back here in the morning to get through all this. Thank you for your holiday companionship, Mr. Bean. Blessings to you and Mr. Daniels. It's a wonderful life. Every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings. Yeah, no thanks. Christmas Carol. It's a Wonderful Life. A Christmas Carol. It's 300 channels and this is all that's on TV? No wonder I hate this time of the year. Solomon Lynch! Ha! How'd you get past the burglar alarms? Who are you? What are you doing here? Why are you dressed like that?
These clothes may look a little odd for this century, but they were quite fashionable in my time, and my name is Ebenezer Scrooge. I think you've had enough already.
I suppose so. So, what is an old character from the 19th century doing here in my living room? I mean, I'm a big fan and all. I've got your book around here somewhere, but I think even you would have to admit it's more than a little bit odd.
Solomon Lynch, I'm here because people are praying for you. Praying that you'll change your ways.
Is this my mother again? I swear I could be Mother Teresa, and that woman still wouldn't be.
Your mother's one of them, Solomon, but not the only one. And I assure you, you're a lot closer to what I used to be than to Mother Teresa.
I suppose you're right.
So I'm here to help offer you a second chance. A chance to change your ways.
What if I happen to like the way I am? Would you just leave me alone? I'm a busy man. I don't have much time for this nonsense.
It's your choice, but I'm not alone. As the night goes on, you're going to meet 3 acquaintances of mine.
Wait a minute. I know how this goes. Isn't this way overdone? First Christmas past comes in and shows me how great things used to be. And then Christmas present comes in and shows me how everyone else is having a great time and makes me wish that I was a part of it. And then Christmas future shows me how I die. And I wake up with the Christmas spirit and we all live happily ever after. Am I right?
Well, that is my story, more or less. But this is your story, Solomon. And tonight, you're going to find there are going to be some key differences between the experiences I undertook and the adventures you had. It's going to take a lot more than the dose of Christmas spirit to make things right for you. Otherwise, you could just read Mr. Dickens' book and be done with it.
I must be dreaming. You're just not taking my liquor well tonight.
I said about the same thing to Jacob Marley a long time ago. You must be a bit of undigested beef, a blot of mustard, a crumb of cheese, a speck of underdone potato.
Even you would have to admit having an old character from an old book standing in your living room is a little hard to believe.
Nonetheless, I'm here. I think you're going to find a lot of your beliefs challenged tonight, Solomon. And you're going to be challenged to believe in a lot of things you've lost out throughout the years if you've accumulated all this stuff. Believing, in fact, is the first step.
Children sleeping, snow is softly falling. Dreams are calling, like bells in the distance. We were dreamers not so long ago, but one by one we all had to grow up. When it seems the magic slipped away, we find it all again on Christmas Day. Believe in what your heart is saying. Hear the melody that's playing. There's no time to waste. There's so much to celebrate. Believe in what you feel inside and give your dreams the wings to fly. You have everything you need if you just believe. Trains move quickly to their journey's end. Destinations are where we begin again. Ships go sailing far across the sea, trusting starlight to get where they need to be. When it seems that we have lost our way, we find it all again on Christmas Day. Believe in what your heart is saying. Hear the melody that's playing. There's no time to waste. There's so much to celebrate. Believe in what you feel inside and give your dreams the wings to fly. You have everything you need if you just believe. If you just believe. If you just believe. If you just believe. Just believe. Just believe.
Scrooge, where are you? Where am I? Wait a minute. I recognize this place. This is home. Yes, home. Or at least one of them. I moved around a lot as a child. Life as a pastor's kid. You must be.
I'm known by many names, but Christmas Past is probably the one you're looking for.
Nice to meet you, I guess. You look so young there. They both do.
They should. This is Christmas Day, 35 years ago.
I wish things had been different between us when you passed. Is there anything I can do to change that?
You can't change the past, Solomon. Only the future.
Here's another present for you, Solomon.
Thanks, Mom. Sweater.
It's a nice new one for you to wear to church.
Thanks. Is there anything else?
I think there might be one more.
There is?
Here you go.
It's the Atari game I wanted. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad. I love you.
You're, welcome, Solomon. Why don't you go hook it up to the TV in the family room? When did you buy them that? Those cost $200 and the extra game cartridges cost even more. I thought we had agreed we didn't have the money for it.
I know, but when I saw it in the store and knew how much you wanted, I figured we could find the money somewhere.
But with all the inflation right now, offerings have been down. We're not making ends meet as it is.
I know, but is it a sin to love my son?
I don't love him any less, but I don't think spoiling him is doing him any good. Or us.
But should we take it back?
No, that wouldn't be fair. I guess I'll have to see if I can pick up any more hours at the department store.
This shouldn't all fall on you.
You can't do any more. You're putting in 80 hours a week at the church as it is. We'll make it work. Now why don't you go play some video games with your son?
How did you like your Atari game, Solomon?
I never played it much. I felt bad that Dad got in trouble with Mom for buying it for me. That Mom was going to have to work extra just to pay for it.
You know, you could have given it back and let them keep the money.
But I still wanted it. I mean, it was mine. I just didn't feel as good about it.
So you decided at that point that you never wanted to have to feel badly about having something again. That you'd work hard and never have to depend on anyone, right?
I learned a strong work ethic. Nothing wrong with that, is there?
To a point. But your dad bought you that game because he loved you. Which was more important? The love of the game.
The love, of course.
What do you have now? Your house is filled with all the games anyone could possibly want. Is there love to go with it?
The town Christmas festival. This is where Carol and I met. There's Jeff Hammond and Fred Sullivan. I haven't seen them in years.
Sure you have. They were part of the group that came to your office this afternoon.
They were? Sure haven't aged well over the years.
Then you have.
Sally, I didn't think you were going to make it.
I can't believe it let you two drag me into coming here again. There's still a ton of stuff to do down at the bank, and they're charging $5 to get in this thing now.
Lighten up, Lynch. If you keep working all these hours and fussing over every nickel and dime, you're going to wind up like Ebenezer Scrooge.
No, that would never happen. Hey, who's that girl over there standing by herself?
That's Carol Williamson. Don't you remember her from high school?
Well, no, but I never spent as much time flirting as you two.
No time like the present, Sally. Why don't you go over and talk to her?
No, I don't think so, guys. Hello.
Hello. Do I know you from somewhere?
I think we went to high school together. My name's Solomon. Solomon Lynch.
Nice to meet you, Solomon Lynch. I'm Carol Williamson. You know, you don't hear the name Solomon every day.
Yeah, that was my father's idea. He's a pastor. He hoped to be wise and successful, like the king in the Bible.
Was he right?
Well, I'm working on the successful part, but I don't know that I'll ever get the wisdom part down. Say, this sounds like some pretty good music to dance to.
Are you asking me to dance? I don't usually dance with guys I don't know.
I think you can trust me. I'm a pastor's kid. Sorry, I'm a pretty rotten dancer. Guess it's from working all the time.
You dance just fine.
I think all my credit should go to my dance partner.
I'm sorry, but I need to cut in.
Get lost.
It's time for you to go.
But just let me stay for a while.
But you're a busy man, remember? You don't have time for this nonsense. Besides, none of this is real. It's just a memory, a shadow of what once was. Your life has moved on since then.
I know, but we were so happy here. So I'm back home again, am I? Wait a minute. This isn't a part of this isn't the present. Carol and the girls are still here.
I'm Christmas past, after all.
Solomon, is that you?
Yes, it's me. Sorry I missed dinner.
I saved you some. You can heat it up in the microwave. Meryl and Molly are in bed already.
Stop! You named your daughter Meryl? Meryl Lynch?
Like the sound of the name.
Severe issues with money, pal.
The only people who have issues with money are those who don't have it.
Yeah, right. I'm not the one naming my daughter after a finance company.
I liked the sound of the name. And besides, the economy hasn't even crashed yet.
All right. Carry on.
Meryl and Molly are in bed already. Your father said nighttime prayers with them.
Already? This is later than I thought. This deal that Joe Pendleton and I are working on is taking forever to complete. But once it goes through, I'll be set for life. I mean, we'll be set for life.
That's not going to do the girls and I much good if we never get to see you.
You seem like you've got plenty of activities to keep you busy down at my dad's church.
Well, it keeps me spiritually grounded, and it does give the girls some positive activities. But it's not supposed to be a substitute for a husband and a father.
Look, I know I put in all these hours, but look what you got. One of the nicest houses in the city. I put food on the table, clothes on all your backs. You've got nice cars. And look at all those presents right under that tree. What more do you want from me?
Don't want a lot for Christmas. There's just one thing I need. I don't care about the presents underneath the Christmas tree. I just want you for my own.
really looking forward to seeing them in the Christmas program at church.
Carol, there is just a ton of stuff to do to get this deal through. Just let me get through this one, and I promise I'll be home more.
That's what you said with the last deal, and the deal before that. We have more than enough to get by. What we need is to have you here.
Look, I know I put in all these hours, but I do it to take care of you. And all you ever do is nag me about it.
I know about the girl at your office.
What? How did you... Look, things happen. Are you just going to harp on me about that, too?
Saul, we can't live like this. The girls need a father, and I need a husband.
Well, if you don't like it here, then just get out. I don't need any of you.
Fine. If that's how you feel, we'll be gone tomorrow. I'll be praying for you, Solomon. If you ever decide you do need me, you'll know where to find me.
Did you hear all that?
It was a little hard not to. You were rather loud. You're like you didn't wake the girls.
Solomon, Carol's been nothing but a loving mother and a good wife. For you to treat her like this is just...
I thought you'd be proud of me. I've never been a burden to any of you. I'm on my way to becoming one of the most successful men in this city. Doesn't that mean anything to you?
Solomon, Jesus once asked, what a man would profit to gain the whole world, but to lose his soul. I'm afraid you're in danger of doing just that.
I don't need a sermon, okay? I don't need anything. Just leave me alone.
This is all my fault. I should have learned to say no more when he was a child.
You can't blame yourself. We both made mistakes, and in the end, we have to pray he starts making the right decision.
So you really just let your wife and daughters go like that?
Yeah. I don't do guilty very well. It was easier just for me to tell myself that everything was Carol's fault.
And the girl at the office?
You probably know. We got married right after Carol and I divorced. She didn't want to. Said she didn't believe in it. But she had to get support from me for the girls.
And how did marriage number 2 work out?
Lasted about 6 months, and then she left me, hitting me up for a big fat alimony check as she did. Guess it shows I'm not all about money.
Solomon, selfishness isn't just about money.
Just, things started out so well together. Seemed to go so wrong all overnight.
Things like this don't just happen all of a sudden. It's like rolling a snowball down a mountain. It starts small, but once it picks up steam, you've got an avalanche on your hands.
Be careful, little eyes, what you see. It's the second glance that ties your hands as darkness pulls the strings. Be careful, little feet, where you go. For it's the little feet behind you that are sure to follow. It's a slow fade when you give yourself away. It's a slow fade when black and white turn to gray. Thoughts invade, choices are made, a price will be paid when you give yourself away. People never crumble in a day. It's a slow fade. It's a slow fade. Be careful, little ears, what you hear. When flattery leads to compromise, the end is always near. Be careful, little lips, what you say. For empty words and promises leave broken hearts astray. It's a slow fade when you give yourself away. It's a slow fade when black and white turn to gray. Thoughts invade, choices are made, A price will be paid when you give yourself away. People never crumble in a day. The journey from your mind to your hands is shorter than you're thinking. Be careful if you think you stand, for you just might be sinking. It's a slow thing when you give yourself away. It's a slow thing when black and white are turned to gray. Thoughts invade, choices are made. A price will be paid when you give yourself away. People never crumble in a day. Daddies never crumble in a day. Families never crumble in a day.
Careful in the lies that you see. Oh, be careful in the lies that you see. For the fire up above is looking down above. Oh, be careful in the lies that you see.
This isn't a part of my past.
The past is, well, in the past, Solomon. Welcome to Christmas presents.
I'm guessing you don't mean the kind I get to open?
No, bad joke.
Sorry.
Meryl, Molly, come on. We promised your grandmother we'd pick her up for the Christmas Eve service at church, and we don't want to be late.
That's Meryl and Molly? They've gotten so big.
It's been a long time since you've seen them.
It's not been that long. It's only been... At least it has been a while.
I still don't see why I have to go. They had extra hours for me at the store tonight.
Meryl, I've already told you. It's important for us to worship together as a family. And besides, you've already worked at the store plenty this week.
Not enough. I'm never going to get my own car at this rate.
There are more important things in life than having a car, honey.
But most of my friends have cars. It never seems like they have anything.
I'm trying, Meryl, you know that. But ever since the factory closed down, good-paying jobs are scarce. I'm having to work too just to make ends meet.
There's that factory again. Is there anyone in this town who doesn't talk about that thing?
Not many. Although you seem to want to avoid the topic. I know, Mom. It's just hard never to have enough money. I can't wait till I'm old enough to make my own way. I don't want to have to depend on anyone for anything.
Honey, the Bible says that the love of money is the root of all evil. There are many more important things in life than money. Don't let it become an issue for you.
The only people with money issues are the ones who don't have it.
Meryl sounds very familiar.
She's a regular chip off the old block. I wouldn't expect a Christmas card from her, though.
Why's that?
Why are we living in this little apartment when Dad is living in one of the biggest houses in town?
Meryl, if your dad didn't send support checks, we wouldn't even be here.
But that's pocket change to him. We barely have one running car and he has 4 in his garage. What kind of person doesn't take care of his own family? I hate him.
Now wait a minute, young lady!
I don't agree with everything your father has done, but he's still your father. You still have to respect him.
How can I respect someone who doesn't care about anyone but himself? I hate him.
No matter how mad I got at my dad, I still never said I hated him.
Even though you're a lot alike, there's one big difference between you and Meryl, Solomon.
What's that?
You had a loving father in your life to help guide you. She hasn't. Does Daddy really only care about himself?
I don't think so, Molly. Your daddy can be a very loving man. He's just been a little confused
Confused about what?
about what the important things are in life. We just have to keep praying that someday he'll realize what he's missing.
Does Meryl really hate Daddy?
I don't think so. It's just harder for her being older. She just remembers more from when we still lived with Daddy, and she misses him more.
Maybe we should pray for Meryl too.
I think that's an excellent idea.
Okay, you start.
Now? But your grandmother. All right. Dear Jesus, please help Meryl to not hate Daddy and help her to realize that you want her to love Daddy and that there are many more important things in life than money. Please be with Daddy and help him to realize what he's missing. Amen.
Dear Jesus, please help Meryl not to hate Daddy, and please help Daddy to know that we love him, and please send him someone to help him realize what the most important things are in life. Amen.
Okay. Let's go get Meryl calmed down and get going. Your grandmother really hates being late to church.
It was Molly,
What was Molly?
praying for me. Scrooge said that people were praying for me, and Molly prayed that God would send someone to me. Look at that time. It reads 8:30. It's about the same time Scrooge showed up in my living room.
The timing is no coincidence, Solomon, but more than your daughter's one prayer is involved. As you mentioned earlier to Scrooge, your mother prays for you regularly, as do Carol and Molly. Meryl used to, but unfortunately, she gave up on you a while ago.
I can't say that I blame her. Another apartment? Am I the only person who lives in a house in this town?
A lot of families have struggled to keep housing since...
The factory closed, I know. I don't recognize any of these children. Whose apartment is this?
This is where Bob Crandall, your employee, lives with his family.
Wait a minute, I may not pay the guy overtime, but he does make a living wage. At least better than this.
Not out of the kindness of your heart, but because you've done the best you can do to calculate the lowest you can pay a good quality worker and not lose him to a minimum wage job.
I suppose so, but I've had about enough of the pulling of the heartstrings for one evening. If a sick kid named Tim walks in, I swear I'm liable to go postal on you.
Well, the community food pantry was all out of New York strip, T-bone steak, and king crab. So I had to settle for macaroni and cheese.
Yeah? Yay, mac and cheese.
Adam, you know your brother, and I would love to do more for you all right now. It's just, we need to save every cent for...
I'm home. Sorry I'm so late. Mr. Lynch had some papers he needed me to work on in the office.
Did you get everything done?
Well, no. I have to go back in tomorrow.
On Christmas Day? What does that man want you to do? Work in the office 24/7?
We don't have a lot of choice right now. Ever since the factory shut down, it's been really hard to find work that pays as much as Mr. Lynch does.
I'll be glad when the economy gets better and you can get out from under the thumb of that ogre. Does that man have any heart at all?
Honestly, I feel sorry for him. We may have our issues, but we have God's love in each other. I wouldn't trade that for all the money in the world.
He feels sorry for me? And the factory yet again. I swear, I'm gonna hear about that thing for the rest of my life.
Most likely you will, since it affected so many of the people in Springdale. But tell me, Solomon, why does it bother you so for people to talk about it?
It's just, well, people need to learn to move on with their lives.
I don't think you're telling me the truth.
It probably would have closed down anyway.
But you helped it along, didn't you? And made a few dollars along the way.
It wasn't just me. In
But-
fact, it wasn't even mostly me. Joe Pendleton made a lot more off that deal than I did. He's the one you should be talking to.
But you were part of it.
Joe Pendleton had an 80% stake in that deal, compared to my 20%. We saw that the company was starting to run into some problems, so we bought out their debt to control the company. We put in some new managers and started to turn things around a bit.
Nothing wrong with that, but...
We ran the numbers. If we continued the way we were, we could maybe eke out a small profit, but it wasn't a sure thing. Or we could move the labor all to Mexico, bumping up the profits, and we could attract a buyer with deep pockets. We'd make a killing.
And you did, at the cost of most of the well-paying jobs in this town.
It probably would have closed down anyway.
That's what you keep telling yourself, but you didn't even try to save it. You just did your best to bleed it dry, no matter how many people it hurt.
It wasn't just me.
But you didn't say no.
So, how was everyone's day today? Junior?
The manager says I'm the best worker they've got at the store, Dad. They're going to give me more hours starting next week.
Well, that's great, son. I'm proud of you.
Just don't neglect your studies.
I won't, Mom.
I picked up another cleaning job today, too, at Mrs. Smith's on Maple Avenue.
Wait a minute. They're bringing in all this money, yet they're still living in poverty. What am I missing?
They're saving for something very important.
And that is...
Tim, dinner's ready. Come on out.
Why I oughta...
Don't blame me. How long has Bob worked for you, and have you ever bothered to ask him the names of his kids? And as far as your family problems, Bob, just keep them to yourself and don't let them interfere with your work. I've got enough of my own issues to deal with. Were those your words? It's not my fault you've been so wrapped up in yourself for so long that you haven't bothered to notice what's going on right under your own nose.
I guess. So is he really sick?
A rare form of leukemia. The doctors give him a year or less.
Unless he can get some medical help. Don't they have Obamacare or something?
You mean because his employer is too cheap to offer health insurance? Though, even if you did, it wouldn't matter.
Well, it's nice to hear that something's not my fault, but why wouldn't it help?
There are some new treatments for Tim's leukemia, but they're entirely experimental and highly expensive. No health insurance can afford to cover them, and neither can the government.
So that's what the Crandalls are saving for. Well, are they getting close?
Not nearly close enough. Even with the community trying to pitch in, spaghetti dinners can only raise so much. They need someone with a lot of money to help them out.
But why am I getting the guilt trip? Go on a pharmaceutical CEO or something.
This isn't supposed to be a burden, Solomon. It's an opportunity. An opportunity to do something good with what you've been blessed with.
It feels more like I'm getting shaken down.
I'd say you're conflicted. Your life has been about yourself for so long that you're at war with what you know deep down is the right thing to do.
But suppose I don't want to do this right thing.
Can I be excused? I'm not feeling very good.
Tim, you know you need to eat to keep your strength up.
I know, Dad. It's just, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. Can I go lay down? It's okay. We'll save your dinner until you're feeling better. Junior, can you help your brother to his room? Adam, Sarah, can you start working on these dishes?
He's getting so weak. I feel like he's wasting away before my eyes.
There's not much we can do except for pray. Pray that we can raise the money or that the Lord will heal him outright.
I know, but it's so hard watching him suffer, not being able to do anything about it.
Too bad they don't know someone who could do something.
But why me? Why make me do all the work?
You're the pastor's son. Do you remember the story of Esther?
You mean that I've been put in this position to help with this? But Esther was the only one who could help in that situation. I could think of a half a dozen other people who could help here. Like Joe Pendleton, for instance. He made 4 times as much as I did.
Pendleton can't fix things with your family, Solomon, and Bob is your employee.
But Pendleton made more money than I did. Let me take care of my own family, and let Pendleton take care of Tiny Tim over here.
This isn't let's make a deal, Solomon. Though, I suppose there's nothing wrong if you want to try and involve Joe Pendleton. Why don't you ask him for yourself?
What do you mean? This is Pendleton's place, all right. Joe, it's me, Solomon Lynch. There's a little boy who needs your help, and... What's wrong with him?
A lifetime of self-centered indulgence has taken its toll. He will leave this earth before I do.
You mean this is his last... He's still got a pulse. Joe, it's me, Solomon Lynch. There's a little boy who needs your help, and...
No, Father, I don't want to go to school.
No, Joe, it's me, Solomon Lynch. There's a
Solomon Lynch? Is that you?
Yes, Joe, it's me. There's a little boy. There's a little boy who needs your help.
To claim your bounty, eh, Lynch? Well, I'm not quite ready to give it up to you yet.
No, Joe, that's not why I'm here. There's a boy who needs your help.
What a deal we made on that factory, eh, Solomon? Brilliant move.
Yeah.
Set us both up for life.
Great. I know, it was great. But there's a little boy.
A boy. Ah, yes. I remember when I was a boy. So many years ago.
No, Joe, there's a boy now!
I bet I can climb higher than you, Trevor. I bet I can.
There's not enough left of him here to be any help, is there?
No, he's too far gone.
Too bad you didn't appear to him, say, a year ago.
It wouldn't have mattered. His heart started hardening long before it started giving out. He would have just dismissed it as a bad dream, or too much drink, then gone back to work and continued down this path. What did he mean, come to claim your bounty?
He never cared for his family much. He never married. He really didn't like his brothers and sisters. In fact, he was more proud of that deal he and I put into effect than he cared for any of them. So, he set his estate up so that when he passed, everything would revert back to the corporation he and I put in. Since I'm the only other partner, in effect, when he passes, I inherit everything he has.
Congratulations, Solomon. You're now the richest man in Springdale.
I don't care.
What? Solomon Lynch? Not caring about money?
What about Pendleton? Look, I know. I'm the pastor's kid. I know all about the verse of death and judgment. I've just never been this close to it before. I wasn't around when my father passed. And this is different.
In great factories of our cities have turned out their last finished work. When the merchants have sold their last yard of goods and fired the last hired clerk. When our banks have raked in their last dollar and paid the last dividends. When the judge of the earth says close for the night and asks for the balance, what then? What then? When the choir has sung its last anthem, and the preacher has made his last prayer, when the people have heard their last sermon, and the sound of it has died out on the air, when the Bible lies closed on the altar, and the pews are all empty of men, when the trumpet of the ages is sounded, the book is open. What then? Can you tell me what then? Has played his last drama, and the mimic has made his last fun. When the film has flashed its last picture, and the billboard displayed its last run, when the crowds seeking pleasure have all gathered and gone into the darkness again, when the trumpet of the ages is sounded and the great book is open, what then? What then?
Cheery place. You must be Christmas future. No handshake? Look, I know how this part goes. You show me my grave, and I'm supposed to be scared into the Christmas spirit and all that stuff. And I'll admit, your buddy back there at Pendleton's did spook me a little bit. But I know I'm going to die, so what does that prove? Everyone dies. Life is the leading cause of death. Look, you're not going to scare me, do you understand me? You're not going to guilt me into anything, and you're certainly not going to scare me into it. Do you understand me? Mr. Lynch?
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to... Wait a minute, I'm alive?
You certainly seem to be. Even a bit more lively than when I was still working for you.
When you were still working for me?
I've pulled things together a bit better now in case you ever need any help. It's just so hard, you know? Losing a child. Tim? He was such a special little boy. So brave right to the very end. I'm sorry. I guess I wouldn't be cut out to go back to work for you. I just wish I could have given him the help he needed. It's so hard watching your child suffer, not being able to do anything about it.
Look, Bob,
Well, you're about the last person I expected to see here. The last time I saw you, you were sitting in your easy chair, mumbling about your childhood.
Sitting in like Pendleton? Look, I'll start a diet and exercise program tomorrow if I have to.
Kind of ironic that we're both here. Last Christmas together as a family, I suppose.
The last Christmas? Molly? Carol?
You know, Molly prayed for you right up to the end. A lot of good that did her mom when those guys broke into our apartment. I guess you should have prayed for a gun instead.
Crime has gotten so bad. Ever since the factory shut down, people have just lost hope.
The factory? No! You can't pin this on me!
Glad I was away at college when it happened, and glad I'm leaving it behind forever.
Leaving it behind?
You wouldn't expect the new Mrs. Trevor Ellinghouse to live in a crime-ridden dumpy town like this.
It wasn't always so bad.
You're married?
Wow, you really are behind times, aren't you?
Well, I guess. So, are you happy?
Who wouldn't be happy? I'll have more money than even you ever did.
Well, do you love him?
Since when does love matter? Do what you want to get what you want. Don't depend on anyone else for anything. Isn't that how you lived your life?
No, I never wanted that for you.
It worked for you. It'll work for me.
Look, this is not my fault. How dare you do this to me? You take some kind of joy in watching people suffer? What kind of monster are you? How dare you! I didn't think you could talk.
You presume to call me a monster? What am I? I'm merely a guide to these shadows of things to come. Do I possess the power to alter what you see here? Who is the monster here, Solomon Lynch?
No, this isn't my fault!
I can make no impact on this world. You can, but you have chosen not to, or to work only for your own benefit. This future is the fruit of the seed you have planted. Can you not bear the crop you have sown? Who is the monster here, Solomon Lynch?
Who could have saved my son?
Who could have taught me how to love?
Who is the monster here, Solomon Lynch?
Who could have helped the helpless?
Who could have protected the lives of his wife and daughter?
No!
Who is the monster here, Solomon Lynch?
Who could have given our town hope?
Who could have kept our family together? Who could have returned the love that we gave him?
Who is the monster here, Solomon Lynch?
Me.
Stay away from me, but you still love me. I feel the rain, yeah.
And on the walls, in the closet, and the halls, comes the wind, and I can't control it. Hiding under the bed, in my body, in my head. Why won't somebody come and save me from this naked? I feel it deep within, it's just beneath the skin. I must confess that I feel like a monster. I hate what I become, the nightmare's just begun. I must confess that I feel like a monster. I feel like a monster. I feel like a monster. My secret side I keep it under lock and key. I keep it cage, but I can't control it. 'Cause if I let it now, tear me up, break me down. Why won't somebody come and save me from this naked end? I feel it deep within, it's just beneath the skin. I must confess that I feel like a monster. I hate what I become, the night has just begun. I must confess that I feel like a monster. I feel it deep within, it's just beneath the skin. I must confess that I feel like a monster. I feel like a monster. I feel like a monster. It's hiding in the dark, it's deep, a razor sharp. There's no escape for me, it wants my soul, it wants my heart. No one can hear me scream, maybe it's just a dream. Maybe it's inside of me, stop this monster. I feel it deep within, it's just beneath the skin. I must confess that I feel like a monster. I hate what I become, the night has just begun. I must confess that I feel like a monster. I feel it deep within, it's just beneath the skin. I must confess that I feel like a monster. I'm gonna lose control, it's something radical. I must confess that I feel like a monster. 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 I feel like a monster.
Monster! Bob! Meryl! Molly! Carol! Scrooge! Where are you? What happens now? Keep Christmas in your own way and let me keep it in mine. And see a vacant seat in the poor chimney corner and a crushed out owner, carefully preserved. Here we go. I am as light as a feather. I am as happy as an angel. I am as merry as a schoolboy. Scrooge! I don't feel as light as a feather. All I feel is guilty. I must be losing it. It must have been a dream or too much to drink. I need to clear my head a bit. I'll go to the office. Going through some of that paperwork should bring me down to earth.
He would have just dismissed it as a bad dream or too much drink and gone back to work and continued down this path.
It was just a dream. I don't even know what I'm looking for. The picture from Bob's apartment. I could have seen it before. It doesn't mean anything. Spaghetti dinner raises money for local family. Spaghetti dinner will be held at 6 p.m. Friday, December 16th at the First Church to raise money for the medical expenses of Timothy Crandall, son of Bob and Sharon Crandall of Springdale. Timothy suffers from a rare form of leukemia. I've been such a fool. God, I know it's been a while since I've talked to you. I suppose it's because I've been too busy putting things in your place or putting myself there. I don't know what to do from here. My mom and dad always seem to know right where you wanted them to go, but I don't. Can you tell me what to do or just give me some sort of direction as where to go from here? Where to go? You'll know where to find me. That's what Carol said. You'll know where to find me.
If you would all please to hymn 193 in your brown hymnals and sing the first and third verses of O Come All Ye Faithful with us.
Christmas, as the name implies, is about Christ, God's gift to us. There is so much wrapped up in that gift, more than could be covered in 1,000 Christmas Eve sermons. There is the gift of forgiveness of our sins, that Christ came to earth to die for our sins and pay the penalty for all the wrongs we have done. There is the gift of the second chance that God offers through Christ. We see this in the Bible in the story of men like Moses, and Jonah, and Paul, men who, through their disobedience to God, not only hurt themselves but hurt others. But God, in His grace, was able to help them not only get their own lives in one order, but was able to do greater things through them than they had ever had before. There is the gift of His Spirit, which gives us the power to overcome the selfish spirit within us and do God's will. God's gift is available to all of us, even to those of you who may feel you are the worst of sinners. If you need forgiveness, a second chance, or if you are tired of living selfishly and want to do the right thing with your life, I invite you to accept God's gift this evening.
God, I don't know if I wandered away from you at some point or I was never close to you to begin with. I just know, right now, my life is a mess. My mom and dad always seem to have such a good way in their heart with you, and I need that right now. Please forgive me for being such a sinner. Please give me a second chance and help me to set things right. And please, Lord, don't let my future be what I saw tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Are you alright, Daddy?
Yeah, I feel as light as a feather for the first time in a long time.
Will you join us for Christmas dinner?
Yes, but I have a few things I need to do first. But not on my own. Doing things on my own is what got me in trouble in the first place. Will you all help me?
Of course, son. But what can we do? It's almost midnight on Christmas Eve.
Well, for starters, can you talk to your pastor and see if he'll come pray with someone for me? There's a man named Joe Pendleton, and I think he's going to need some prayer real quick.
Certainly.
Molly, Meryl, can you two come up with a Christmas list for some kids about your age?
Sure, I guess so. Yeah.
It sounds like it's been quite an evening.
It has. I don't know how to...
I know. I think a prayer has been answered. There's just a lot we probably both need to work through. Let's just take things one step at a time.
That sounds good. Would step one be to ask you to forgive me?
Sounds like a good start.
The pastor's finishing up. He'll be ready to go soon.
All right, let's get going. There may not be much time.
Okay, Mom, thanks. Get some rest. That was your mother. The funeral home has taken Mr. Pendleton, and she went home to get some rest before dinner. I'm sorry, Saul. I knew you had some business dealings with him. Did you know him well?
Not really, but we had a lot in common. He was pretty far gone by the time we got there. I just hope the pastor was able to get through to him before he passed.
I still don't know how we got that man to open the shop up for us. I think it had something to do with the $100 bills that Dad handed him.
Money makes the world go round, that's for sure. I just hope that it starts making mine go in the right direction from here on out.
Mr. Lynch? Well, you're the last person I expected to see on Christmas morning. Are you all right? You don't mind me saying you look a little, rough.
It's been a very long evening, but a good one. May we come in?
Of course. And these are...
My manners. These are my daughters, Molly and Meryl. And this is my... Well, this is,
I'm Carol.
Good to meet you. Christmas presents? But I don't understand.
It's been a very long evening. May I sit down?
Of course.
Bob, I'm going to be making some changes.
You're not firing him, are you?
No, not at all. But I can't have him in his current position either. I've come into quite a bit of money overnight, and I've decided to start doing some good, positive things with it, in addition to with what I already have. I made some phone calls to some people who are like me, or like I was, who have nothing better to do than conduct business on Christmas Day. I've got some jobs lined up for some manufacturing work. I'm going to reopen the factory. I can't bring all the jobs back right away, but maybe if we get a start on this, we can start bringing some hope to this town.
Well, that sounds wonderful, but how does that involve me?
Bob, I need a partner. Someone who can keep me on the straight and narrow, and someone who can keep me from putting myself in the way of doing the right thing. We're going to struggle a bit at first, but even at that, you'll be making quite a bit more than you are now.
Mr. Lynch, I don't know what to say.
Say yes, and please, call me Solomon.
My only concern would take time away from my family.
I'll be sure to keep your hours reasonable, and I'll expect you to do the same for me.
This is all so much to take in. It's just, well, my family has some special circumstances right now.
Yes, Tim.
You know about him?
I heard from a friend of mine. First thing tomorrow, we're getting him set up with the oncologist at the Children's Hospital. As a partner in a major corporation, I'll make sure your whole family is covered with a health plan. And anything that is not covered, I'll pay for myself.
God bless you, Mr. Solomon.
He already has, Bob, more than I ever could have imagined. And one more thing. I can't have a partner in a major corporation living in a place like this. I want you all to come live with me, and so you can find a place of your own. And I also want you to join me for Christmas dinner, once my mother wakes up.
Does this mean I'm going to get all better?
Even if I had all the money in the world, I couldn't promise you that you'd get all better. But we're going to do everything we can and put the rest in God's hands. So what do you say, Bob?
Yes, Yes, of course. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bob. And thank you, Molly and Carol,
For what?
for praying for me and for not giving up on me.
Merry Christmas, Daddy. Merry Christmas, Dad.
Merry Christmas, Solomon.
Merry Christmas.
Snow-covered rooftops, lights on the trees. The sound of singing I hear down every street. Families have gathered from miles away. Oh, Merry Christmas, it's Christmas Day. You see that old tree down Cotton Lane. Those lights keep shining, it's always the same. Always the same. We hear those church bells ring out to say, oh, Merry Christmas, it's Christmas Day. Oh, Merry Christmas, it's Christmas Day.
Decorate with green and red. Make the cookies for old Santa. Make a runway for his sled.
Singing carols on a sleigh ride. Gather round the manger scene. Open presents, read the letters, and together we will sing a Merry Christmas. Joy to the world, for every nation, for every boy and girl. Let's light a candle, for peace we pray. Oh, Merry Christmas, it's Christmas Day. It's Christmas Day. Let's light a candle, for peace we pray. Oh, Merry Christmas, it's Christmas Day. Oh, Merry Christmas, it's Christmas Day.
God bless us, everyone.